was Cleora Lacey, but everybody calls me Cleo. And I was born in East Aurora, New York. And when I was a year old, my parents moved to Niagara Falls. And I lived in Niagara Falls all my life until about the late 50s. And then I moved from there to Vermont, and after living in Vermont a couple of years, I moved to Watsonville, California. And what I remember mostly about when I was a child, Christmas at our house was a really big thing, and we always had a huge, real live Christmas tree with lit candles on it, little candles lit all over it. I look back now and I think to myself, it's a wonder we didn't have a fire, you know. And anyways, my mother would take us, of course, to downtown to see Santa Claus, and though that was a big moment. But then on Christmas morning, we got up and opened our gifts, and that was just before the Depression, so people didn't have money like they do now. But anyways, we were happy with what we got. And there was myself and an older brother, Lyle, and my younger sister, Betty. And there were the three of us. And in the summertime, we would go visit my grandparents at their home, their farm in East Aurora. And so I had a pretty normal childhood. When I was 14, I was going to junior high there, and one of the neighbors who lived near us at that time had a brother who was in the Army Air Force, and he came home. He came home after doing his duty there. And I met him. The minute I met him, I knew that I was going to marry him. And I was 14 years old, but I never changed my mind. And when I was 19, we were married. His name was James Lacey. And we lived together until 1977 when he died. We lived in Niagara Falls until, like I say, until the late 50s. And by that time I had 6 children: John, Virginia, who is the head housekeeper here, and Joan, and Timothy, Timothy right now is, he's 50-some years old, but he's going to college in Oklahoma City. And John was retired from the Marine Corps after 50 years. And Joan and Debbie and Rachel. And they all moved west to, they moved out here and then to California, and then from California they moved to Reno. And so after about maybe 15 years ago, I moved up here too, because I was coming up all the time to see them, you know. And when I was 51, I'm living in California. I went into college, Cabrillo College in Aptos, California, and took training to become a nurse. And I worked at that then until I was 70, and then after that I retired. I've been here a little over a year, and I like it very much. I'm very, Virginia and my daughter Debbie was working here at the time, and they both decided, because my eyesight was getting so bad that I couldn't live alone anymore. And so they arranged for me to come over here, and then I used to come over once in a while to see Vicki to get my hair done, or visit with Virginia sometimes for different reasons. And I liked it. I often thought to myself, it'd be nice if I could come here sometime. I never thought that I would, though. And so I finally did, and I always figure the Lord is right there always arranging things for me, you know, so that's the way it is. Around 4 years old, I think. The one thing that I do remember was during the First World War. We lived in Niagara Falls, and we lived on Whirlpool Avenue, And the trains going down to the fort at Lewiston, New York, would go right past our house. And one Easter Sunday, a troop train stopped across the road, and all the women in that neighborhood were bringing their Easter dinners up and holding them up to the windows for the boys there in the train. And I can remember somebody holding me up, and I was holding my Easter basket up so that they could reach out and get candy out of it. And that was a long time ago.